He escaped from prison about 40 years ago, but now a man is back in custody after police say he turned himself in.
Investigators say Clarence David Moore was serving time for theft when he escaped from North Carolina in the 1970s, but he had been living in Frankfort in recent years. Jordan Valines tells us why Moore finally turned himself in.
For decades, David Moore's secret remained safe.
You think you know somebody, and then all of a sudden, boom.
His criminal past and escape from a North Carolina prison in 1976 was a reality he hid from in the hills of Kentucky.
You can't make this up.
But on Monday, after 4 decades on the run,
it's a remarkable story.
Moore turned himself in.
He was very emotional. And, was, I think, glad to get it all behind him.
The sheriff says Moore's failing medical condition is what prompted his surrender. He's a paraplegic and had a stroke that affected the right side of his body. Eventually got to the point, the sheriff says, where he needed medical assistance from the government. Detectives tell us that David Moore had been living along Seneca Trail for several years and in Franklin County since 2009. Now, neighbors say he mostly kept to himself along with the woman that he was living with. Turns out she didn't know about his past as well. On Monday, deputies transported Moore from his quiet residential life.
They just seemed like nice, quiet people.
To the hospital and then to jail. All the while, neighbors were still reeling over this surreal reality check.
Amazed that I lived next to someone who was a fugitive.
Hard to believe, she says, how little we know about the people we call our neighbors. Jordan Valines for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
The Franklin County jailer has been in touch with the North Carolina Department of Corrections, and it will be up to them to take Moore back to North Carolina.